In Focus continues now. Let's turn to this. The Mayor of Johannesburg, Dara Morero, has committed to expediting repairs on the Lilian Ngoyi Street, previously known as Bree Street, which was badly damaged in a gas explosion last July. The street has been inaccessible since the event, resulting in a shutdown of numerous local businesses. Let's unpack this now with Mervyn Cirota, member of the Gauteng provincial legislature and the DA Gauteng Human Settlements spokesperson. Good to have you, Mervyn, and thank you very much for your time. Why do you want the Premier now to get involved in this particular matter?
Good evening. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, a year has taken place since this problem arose and since the explosion. And as you know, nothing has happened and 200 million has been spent. The mayor, who was MMC for finance at the time, was clearly part of the problem and is now indicating that another year will take place. We do not know what is going to happen. We do not know what the budget is. We do not know what the planning is. We do not know when the construction will begin. We do not know who will carry out the work, and we do not know what the monitoring process is and how it will be implemented. We are simply going down the same road as we are at the moment. This is an unacceptable position, and the city continues to suffer. We have businesses who are waiting to come back to the city. We have residents who are suffering, and we have businesses that cannot continue their day-to-day operations. Yeah. This is a state of total disrepair. The situation, if you take the 1.8 kilometer hole in the city, is causing great damage to the city. The city is slowly dying, and the mayor has no solution. He seems to be totally overwhelmed with no plan. The Premier has not come on board. The two of them run administrations, one the provincial, the other the city, and there's no planning, no monitoring, no implementation, just no idea of how to go forward. Yeah. We in the DA have an infrastructure master plan. We can turn around the decay. We need to put this in place. We need to have a basis of determining how long it's going to take, what plans we can have going forward, so that the city doesn't go further into a state of decay and infrastructure, long-term infrastructure, falling away of being able to service our citizens.
So here's the explanation from the mayor on the year, right, and the processes that have taken place. One, there's an explosion. Two, an investigation ensues into the cause of the explosion. That we know would have taken a couple of months. A contractor then would have been put in place to assess the damage. After that, another contractor, as the implementing agent, would have then been given the contract. This was late last year, right? Now, 2 months ago, it has emerged that that particular contractor breached the agreements and did not meet the milestones that were set up in that agreement. Hence, the JRA having to terminate. So the mayor is saying, well, it's not the city that did not meet its obligation. It's a contractor that did not meet its milestones and breached the agreements, and therefore, that process had to be terminated.
Well, clearly, the mayor has admitted that there's been no monitoring, there's been no oversight. The city hasn't been watching what it's supposed to be doing. If you employ a contractor, there must be oversight. There must be an ability to determine what is going on. And for a whole year, and after spending such a large amount of money, 200 million, we still have no progress, is an absolute disgrace. It clearly shows no one's in charge, no one knows what they're doing, and that we need a complete turnaround. And that has to happen quite soon. Yeah.
Certainly, in my conversation with him, he said the company would be investigated and that money would be pursued and be recovered where it can. But where the situation sits now is that the mayor says the number 2 company, in terms of those companies that were bidding, be it maybe on price or expertise and whatnot, that number 2 company has now been appointed by the JRA, and it appears that in less than, what is this, September, in less than 9 months, because the mayor says June 2025, the project is set to be completed.
Well, we have the same problem. We don't know anything about this company. What we are saying is this new company needs to be monitored. We need to determine whether they can carry out the work. We need to ensure that we don't have a situation where another 200 million is spent. We need to ensure that they can do the job. And we need to ensure that there's a continual day-to-day process that we know what is happening. We cannot afford to allow the city of Johannesburg to continue down this path. As I've said, this is a main arterial that's 1.8 kilometers in the center of the city, and as long as it remains in its current condition, the city of Johannesburg suffers to its greatest detriment, and the longer it will take for it to recover.
Is there more that your councillors can do within the municipality as far as getting that type of information that you're looking for?
Well, it's a question, everyone can get involved. Our councillors can request the information, but remember, it's not under their control. So it's for the mayor and the contracts that are being entered into to provide that information. Whether the Premier is involved or not, we don't know. He needs to come forward, and the two of them need to show that they have the interests of the city at heart. Come forward, be open, provide us with the information. We can monitor, we can assist, but we can make sure that progress has been made, and in a year's time, we simply don't look back and have the same problem going forward.
Yeah. So where you're sitting, you would not be opposed to the idea of the next company that would have been in that bidding process taking over the renovation work or the repair work?
Provided that company has the expertise, provided that that company enters into a contract, provided that that company is subject to penalties, provided that that company is open to questions and to give answers and is open to monitoring, and that we have a process in the very short term to ensure that they are the correct company and that they can do the job. Then we can monitor and make sure, and if they're not doing the job, we can quickly replace them. But we cannot wait another year to determine if this second company is also unable to complete the work as the first one did. Otherwise, we'll be exactly in the same boat. It's really not difficult to sort this out. It's simply a question of implementation, sustainability, and taking responsibility.